final expense is something that almost all seniors have questions about. And they have the opportunity to ask questions only when you have an agent in front of you. So we have decided to have a guest, and he's going to answer some of the questions that you want to ask, but this time it's going to be in Your Medicare New by Choice, the senior podcast. But today we're going to have a little spin, beloved senior, because we're going to talk about not Medicare, we're going to talk about final expense. And in this topic, I have a person I just met, but it comes with good reference because the person that referred him to me, I know her, and I know that she's not going to associate with everybody. His name is Raymond Stiles, and he comes to talk to you about final expense versus term insurance. And I want to say thank you and welcome to the program. How are you today?
Gregory, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor. We're doing something here a little bit different.
Okay.
I worked many years since 1978 life insurance. Started with a little company with a dog.
So did I.
And a lot of have changed since those days. I used to go and have to educate the people. Originally, this accent is not from Texas, it's from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And I was trying to educate people what life insurance, cancer policies, and all that. So it was kind of hard because people didn't understand it. But now that I'm here, now that I'm in this industry, I love the senior market. But I see it like I am helping my grandma, my mom, my dad to get the best coverage possible. And I don't like when agents go thinking only money. Instead of going, there's one motivational speaker. His name was Zig Ziglar. And he said, if you help enough people get what they want, what they need, you will get what you need, what you want.
Absolutely.
So I use that in my life. And that's the reason we're doing this podcast. And after this long introduction, let me ask you, who is Raymond Stiles?
Well, thank you for having me again. Raymond Stiles, I am, compared to the others in the room, relatively new to insurance. I spent my career in engineering and then marketing and sales.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it marketing and selling in my career.
Mm-hmm.
So late in my career, I had an opportunity to address something that had been tugging at me.
Mm-hmm.
So all through my career, I always wanted to do something every day to help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
My days were consumed with doing the work for the people for whom I was employed.
Mm-hmm.
I had an opportunity. And like you, I started working with the company that has the duck. Fantastic way to get introduced to the market.
Yes.
And then I learned about final expense. And I went to work as a captive agent for a final expense company. And I had the experience you probably had. Because when you sit across the table for someone who's getting final expense insurance, they're making consideration not only for themselves, but for their families.
Mm-hmm.
The most common statement I heard is, I don't want my family to have to beg to take care of my final expenses.
Yes.
That touched me. And so when I saw people, you might have mentioned this and experienced, I saw cousins, aunts, uncles, and the people with whom I was working. And if I did a great job, then they would be happy and their families would be happy. I'll wrap this introduction up by saying, I have a client who I just went to.
Mm.
His wife predeceased him by about a year. Now this is a we statement, not an I statement, but we, my client and myself, we put together a plan to handle her final expense so that all he had to do was honor her passing and move on.
Yes.
His son is my client. We had to do the same thing. So that's a nutshell of what why I really do this.
Yes.
Is because when I do my job right, that family's worst day is not as bad as it could have been.
Exactly. And that's the key of this. And it's so sad to see so many people passing away and not ready. And sometimes they wanted to get ready, but they were with the wrong agent in front of them.
Yeah.
And in this directory, MedicareTrustedAdvisors.com, you will find agents. You will find Medicare agents and you will find life insurance agents. And the reason I created this is to give the senior information and then choose, because they can go down or up, whatever, find in the website, go for a local agent. And then look at the reviews, look at the information, the experience, the company, and give a phone call right before. Because most seniors, they don't have the luxury of choosing. They don't know agents. Well, here they have that. And I'm glad that you're here. And let me tell you something, going back into our topic, what's the difference between a final expense policy and a term insurance policy?
That is a great question, Gregory, and is an important one. Our term policy, we'll start there, is described in the name. Mm-hmm. That policy is in place for a specific amount of time where the premium, that's how much you pay every month, and the death benefit remains the same. Mm-hmm. That term can be a year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. At the end of that time, something changes. Here's what can change. The premium can go up, the death benefit can go down, or the policyholder can decide not to continue.
Yep.
Let's use an example. 30 years old, you get a 30-year policy. When you're 60 years old, just about to go to retirement, that policy is gone. Now, you can get another one, but it won't be at the same premium it was when you were 30.
Yes, that's right.
All right, so that's it. Term policy have a great benefit. I love to tell stories. Lisa might have heard this one. When I was a young man, about 30, I was on a flight, Atlanta to Minneapolis. The landing gear didn't come down. Mm-hmm. The co-pilot came out, pulled up the rug, and said, I'm going to try to crank it down. Long story short, emergency equipment all along the runway. I thought it was my last day.
Yes.
We had 2, maybe 3 young daughters at that time. And here's what I did. I calculated my salary. Mm-hmm. And I calculated the time between my youngest daughter's current age and when she'd be on her own. She's living with me now. She's 26. So, no, she's on her own. She just, okay, we won't do that. But there wouldn't be enough money in our household for those people to enjoy the same standard of living. So the next day I went out and got as much term insurance as I could get.
And it works.
And it
for
works
that.
For that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 60 years old. Mm-hmm. My baby graduates from college in May. Mm-hmm. So the need for term is over.
Yeah.
Final expense has a different name, and it's there. It is there so that your family doesn't have to fund your final expenses. Funeral, any debt you leave, any legacy you want to leave for your family. Mm-hmm. So final expense, different from term. This is going to be a whole life policy.
Yes.
The benefit doesn't change. The premium doesn't change for the entirety of the policy. Mm-hmm. You can pay for that policy for 10 years, 20 years, any fixed amount of time, or you can pay for it for your entire life, just like anything else. But here's what you know. You pay your premiums, you pay up your premium, that benefit is there when you die, final expense, not if you die, term.
Yes. And that's what you that are listening to this podcast, life insurance have different for mortgage. It has for business insurance. It has for term insurance, universal, index annuity. It has so many different. Just like Medicare, one plan doesn't fit the need of everybody. So this is final expense is designed for those. If that's what I'm getting, is designed for those final wishes and make it that you don't have to worry about in 5 years, the plan is going to run out and people are living a little longer. So I'm going to be out. I better die because...
or there's nothing for my family.
Or it's nothing for my family. Right. Something like that.
And in both cases, the choice is made about your family. I mean, we call it life insurance. It's not necessarily, it's based on your life, but it's for someone else.
Yes.
Based on your life, but for someone else.
Well,
life.
this is a topic that I would like to in the future bring you back a little bit and go in depth a little bit more.
Okay.
And
I'd love to do it.
Yes, and help seniors all over the nation. They're gonna be watching this podcast. Get a little bit of more idea. But you know what? If you with this little conversation, these 5-10 minutes that we've been here, if you like what you hear, go and look for Raymond Stiles right here in this directory. Type his name, give him a call, visit his website, get in contact with him because are you gonna be upset if somebody calls you to ask you some questions?
I would never be upset at a question. The only question I do not like is the one that isn't asked.
What?
So the only question I don't like is the question you don't ask. Any question you ask, I love.
So you have it there. Give him a call. Use this. And if he's not in your area, I don't think if he doesn't represent a company in that state or give him a call and at least get the knowledge. And then you can make an intelligent decision.
So opening the door, thank you for that. I am licensed in Texas, in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana.
Look at that. So there's 4 or 5 states that right there. He can help you there. This is the age of technology. They don't need to be in line. You don't need to be in front of an agent. What you need to have the right agent in front of you. Electronically over the phone, because with these days, you can do an application electronically, and it's no problem.
And Gregory, the other thing I'd like to get in is that I am a broker.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is that I work for my client and I look for the plan that fits their needs best, not the plan that a specific company would have me promote.
That's one thing in one of the podcasts, you can look it up. I was telling people, call centers, no, you want a live agent with you, and you don't want a career from one company agent because his heart might be right, but he's going to sell only what he has, while the broker represents multiple companies and can look for something that fits better to your needs. Well, time is of the essence. I'm running out of time, but I hope that Raymond was
I want it to be COVID safe, but I also want people to know what I look like.
Look at the smile. And until the next time, stay tuned because we're going to have a lot of new information for you so you can make the right decision. And this is your host, Gregory Santiago, and stay safe. God bless.